Right, kia ora all, talawhalawa, malawalele, namaste, ni hao, and warm Auckland greetings to all of us and all of you, and especially to Alan, all the way from London. I think he's still living in London, I'm not sure, but England anyway. And also I should acknowledge those, there's a live audience at the Highland Park Library streaming, so welcome to those as well, and to anyone else who's online. So, introduce myself, I'm Ross Clow, I'm the Chair of the Finance and Performance Committee and the Councillor for the Faux Ward. For those of you who don't know, the Faux Ward is essentially Avondale and New Lynn and Blockhouse Bay. Not a wealthy ward in itself, with a fairly high transient population as well, with a lot of people who aren't earning the living wage. So all those who are taking part on social media or in the future or now, obviously you know Auckland AKL Conversations. There'll be a video available of this after the event, full transcript and involved. And housekeeping in the unlikely event of an emergency, there'll be an alarm and you have to follow the ushers out. And you know the general drill on that. But can we please ask that people turn off their cell phones, please, just in case there's any issue there. Acknowledgements, we should always acknowledge the sponsors, which are crucial. That's what's allowed the Auckland Conversations to take place in the first place. And so we've got the partner sponsor, which is Resine, and then our program sponsors, which is a list of worthy people, worthy entities: Brookfields Lawyers, Boffin Miskel, Architectural Designers New Zealand, New Zealand Institute of Architects, the New Zealand Planning Institute, New Zealand Green Building Council, and MR Cagney. General introduction: what's the background to the living wage, and what is the role that Auckland Council plays by adopting the living wage? It'd be fair enough to say that the councillors, which includes the mayor, because he's one of 21 effectively, we did it because the majority of us thought that this was the right thing to do. We wanted to create better career paths at the council. We wanted to improve the retention of staff because we've got turnover rates of about 25% of those below the living wage. We'd like to, if we could get that down to 15%, that has great savings. And needless to say, if we can get retention to be at a better figure and reduce the turnover, our productivity improves at the same time. And of course that's just an overall decrease in turnover costs. And needless to say, it's a big issue in trying to improve the social equity outcomes, and the main ones here are obviously between ethnic groups, which are more than aware that certain ethnic groups are more greater representation in lower paid work. And then of course we've got the male-female divide, where of the 2,200 employees that are below the living wage, 2/3 of them are female. So on that brief note, tonight you'll be hearing from the Mayor with a general introduction, and then Annie Newman from Living Wage Aotearoa, and then we've got Alan Freeman, who's come from England and retired now, but a past principal economist at the Greater London Council and established the Living Wage Unit at the Greater London Council. I'd like to acknowledge Councillor Casey here and Councillor John Watson there. There we are. We always know where Kathy is. And I did see some local board members, but I'm sure the Mayor will acknowledge them as well. So, Mayor Goff, he showed the leadership on this issue. A number of councillors obviously signed up to the living wage pledge or commitment, but the Mayor made it as a key plank in his platform and delivered. He then, at the council, was led and galvanised the majority of councillors to get behind it. And it'd be fair enough to say, even those that didn't vote for it, we had good debates, not too much rancour, and I think it'd be fair enough to say that those councillors who even didn't vote for it are more than aware of the pressures in Auckland that we're getting with housing costs, etc., etc. And you only need to look at the Herald today, and in recent times we're talking about teachers moving and trying to hold teachers here. And put it this way, they're getting paid more than those below the living wage, and they're facing incredible pressures. So And the last thing I say before I bring the Mayor up is the feedback from in the annual plan was every single ward across the council. The majority of the feedback was that they agreed with us bringing in the living wage, so we feel as though we had a mandate there from certainly those that responded, but we felt as though that's a positive measure. So I'm going to introduce Mayor Goff. Welcome, Phil.